Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1970s.
What is real? Are you certain you know what reality is? How do you know that at this second you aren't asleep in your beds dreaming that you are here in this theater? Ah, yes, it all seems too real.
This is episode 253, recorded October 22nd, 2025.
Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, I am your host, Doc Rodden, and this podcast about horror films released between 1970 and 1979. Each episode, my co-host and I will take another look at another classic or not so classic film from this wondrous, groovy, gory, and influential decade. With me this week are my co-hosts, starting off with the wonderful, amazing, and talented Jeff Mohr. How you doing, Jeff?
Who are you talking about?
Jeff Mohr.
Oh, okay. Nobody.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
All right.
Florida.
Also,
My camera's wiggling. All right.
oh well, you know, so that happens from time to time when you get old. All right. Also joining us tonight is Bill Mulligan, writer, director, special effects guru, and published author of 2 books that are flying through the air. Hello, Bill.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay? I'm getting getting some weird sounds from y'all. I don't know
We
if
can
the
hear
weather's
you. You
crazy.
sound good.
Okay, well that's good. As long as I sound good, I'll just nod my head while the rest of you speak all clipped and everything. Maybe it's just the influence of this crazy pants movie.
Yes.
Are you saying our sounds garbled some or something?
Well, Doc was a little odd, but now you all sound right. So maybe
I'm always a little odd.
Yeah.
All right. Also joining us tonight is Chad Hunt, comic artist, co-host of Decades of Horror, the classic era, and the 80s, as well as he is also a writer, director, and producer with Wreak Havoc Productions, and a swell feller. How you doing, Chad?
I don't feel swell.
Yeah. Wear with my nightshirt. You got to be awesome, right?
I'm good, Doc. I'm good.
Yes. All right. As we head into our review of The Wizard of Gore from 1970, Jeff Mohr is going to put us on pause to explain some stuff about Play Now Media.
Well, yeah. Decades of Horror partners with Play Now Media, a streaming company that's got a lot of subgenre streaming channels. And in fact, Decades of Horror of the 1970s is on the classic horror movie channel, the classic sci-fi movie channel, and Wicked Horror TV, amongst their many channels. And we're actually on more channels than that, but I can't keep track of them. But anyway, we have a promo code for you if you want to use it. It's DOH70, DOH, all caps, 70, and that will get you 20% off your first payment. If you take the monthly subscription plan, which is $7.99 a month, you'll get $1.60 off your first month. But if you take the annual plan, which is $60, 20% is $12. It'll be only $48 for an annual subscription. And that seems like a pretty good deal to us. And we'll be there. Now, if you don't want to subscribe, you can just go there and watch movies. You'll see ads. You'll miss out on premium content. You can also register, create an account without costing anything, and it will remember where you were, and you can have a favorites list. Or once you subscribe, then you can see all of the content, no ads, and you can go to town. They got a lot of good stuff there. I mean, everything from the dregs to some pretty good flicks and stuff we...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I watched tonight's movie on
yes,
Classic Horror Movie Channel.
Classic Horror Movie Channel.
Yep. All right. Before we get into this, just to set up, we're going to give you our first impression of the film after we go through a quick little examination of some details, and then we'll go into a discussion about how it was made, the people behind it, the actors, and anything else that we fancy to discuss along this movie. And then we'll wrap things up tonight with some feedback, which is my favorite part, if you ask me. All right, let's get into it. Let's look at the card and rock and roll here. The Wizard of Gore, 1970, directed by Herschell Gordon Lewis, written by Alan Kahn. The cast includes Ray Sager, Judy Claire, Wayne Rattay, yeah, sure, Phil Lawrenson, Jim Raw, Don Alexander, and John Elliott. The production company is Mayflower Pictures. Filming locations: Illinois, Rockford Island Park, Chicago. Filming dates: 2 weeks in 1969. Just somewhere in 1969, it took 2 weeks. Release date was October 23rd, 1970 in the United States. The budget is estimated to be $60,000. The synopsis is: a TV talk show hostess and her boyfriend investigate a shady magician who has the ability to hypnotize and control the thoughts of people in order to stage gory on-stage illusions using his power of mind bending.
So this guy here, you put that picture back up, Doc.
Man.
So that guy is. So they filmed part of this. There was a cemetery, and I was a little confused about it, but the cemetery was on the south side of Chicago in a black neighborhood, and then they had this funeral home, and I don't know if these were connected, but anyway, this guy was the owner of the funeral home, and so they let him play a morgue attendant in turn for using his funeral home. However, he'd finished off about a liter of Johnny Walker Red by the time it was time for the films, and he said he was so drunk he couldn't hardly stand up, and it's fairly obvious because he's supposed to be frozen in position, but he keeps wavering around. Anyway,
in this film, does it matter?
Yeah, if he's the coroner, it's Eric Kellner Reynard.
Well, good for him.
He's terrible. Not the worst actor in the movie, but he's terrible.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Well, let's go around and give our first impressions when we first saw this. And I don't think we have to go into does it hold up today. That's self-evident. Chad, this was your pick, was it not?
Yes, it was.
All right.
Way to go, Chad.
Give us a skinny on this one.
You're welcome, everyone. You're welcome. I remember back in the day reading about Herschell Gordon Lewis in Fangoria, and all my friends talking about Blood Feast and Wizard of Gore. Oh man, these are the greatest movies ever made. There's so much gore, legs are getting chopped off, and they're eating it. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh boy, I can't wait to see this movie. I can't wait. So the first one I watched was Blood Feast, which is arguably worse than this one. But I just remember going, this isn't quite what I had in mind when from what everybody was telling me. So I thought it was extremely stupid. So then after that, I watched The Wizard of Gore, and the streak of stupidity still was lingering on in the. These are so. What can I say? The gore doesn't even look like gore. It looks like My Little Pony paint. Or something, it looks terrible, and the body parts just look like Sears mannequins with cut off limbs of a Sears mannequin or something. It doesn't look real at all. But they're terrible. They're terrible movies. But at the same time, I appreciate their place in history as because I know there's a wing of fans out there who are gore hounds, and they just love gore and gore for the sake of gore and show me more gore and that kind of thing. So I appreciate it on that level because it does deliver on gore, just not realistic gore. Just not these movies are have a place in history, I guess you'd say. Just not ones that I ever go back and revisit. So I thought, well, this is showing, in a couple different places. Let me try it out and see how it holds up today. And Doc, you said it there. That's sort of self-evident if it holds up today or not. That's a big NO, but yeah. So I'm still holding on to my very first impressions of it. It's not good. Not good.
All right, Bill Mulligan, how you doing, sir? When
I'm
did you
doing
first
fine.
catch this monster, and what do you think of it, sir?
I'd heard of H.G. Lewis probably from the research book. No, I don't know when I first heard about him, but it was on the periphery. I knew of him, and I went to a convention in Albany when I was in grad school. This would have been like '84. There was a comic book store called Fantico that also did some publishing. Way ahead of their time, really cool, and they had a big love not just for comics but for horror movies. So they did Fanticon, and H.G. Lewis was a guest. And I read up on him, looked him up, and everything. Chaz Ballin had a lot to say about him, and he was delightful. He's just this grandfatherly like guy, good sense of humor, kind of a Lloyd Kaufman-esque before there was Lloyd Kaufman. Before Lloyd Kaufman became famous. And he was just up there cracking jokes, talking honestly, had no illusions about how good his movies were. And what really struck me at one point, he started talking about a scene in the Gore Girls. And as he was describing, he suddenly stopped himself and looked around and was like, are there any kids in the audience? And I'm like, wow, H.G. Lewis doesn't want to talk about some of his own horrible scenes because he might traumatize some kid. We were all expecting just this horrible, raincoat guy. And he was a businessman. So he seemed like someone you could personally like and enjoy, go out and have a beer with and everything else. All that said, his movies are wretched. And for someone smart and someone who loved movies enough to make a damn mess of them, he never got any better. He peaked with 2000 Maniacs. And and each movie was, for the most part, as bad as the one before it. There's no growth. These movies are barely movies. There's essentially like porn movies, except instead of a sex scene, we have a gore scene. And much like porn movies, these scenes are interminable. They go on forever, and it's not like you're blown away by the special effects. Although I will say there is something about an H.G. Lewis movie that's different from everything else. You see a low budget crap movie, and it's usually like, oh, I wonder how they pulled off that effect. They mostly probably use some foam rubber or maybe latex, might be gelatin. Whereas with his movies is so damn cheap. It's like, oh, I know how he made it look like a tongue got ripped out of that girl's mouth. He had a sheep's tongue, soak it in Lysol for 3 days in the hot sun, sticks it in her mouth, and then pulls it out. And I'm like, blah, blah, blah. So I'm barfing, but it's not from the effect. It's from the knowledge of what this poor woman had to go through. All that said, I will say one good thing about The Wizard of Gore, and it's really the only good thing you can say. It's bad on every technical aspect. The acting is so bad it almost becomes good, but doesn't quite make it. Its reach greatly exceeds its grasp, which I kind of admire. It's metaphysical, it's philosophical, it's a lot of claptrap, but at least there's something there. I mean, if you're blazed enough watching this movie, you're like, yeah, man, maybe it is a dream and I'm in bed and I haven't actually woken up and I'm dreaming about watching this movie. Or I'm watching a movie about a dream where I'm watching. Okay, whatever. It's the first time you tried marijuana. Like, you're going to have these thoughts. So, okay, there's that. I mean, the sheer chutzpah of the ending of this movie is something to sort of step back from and admire. But other than that, this sucks. It's so bad. It's really bad. Really bad. Some people consider this like the quintessential H.G. Lewis movie, and I think 2000 Maniacs is way better. And
yeah.
Blood Feast, is just as cheap and crappy, but seems a little bit more like a real movie. I mean, this is bargain basement bad, but I will say it's memorable.
Memorable. There you go. I guess that's good. Jeff, sir, when did you first see this wonderful movie, and what was your first impression?
When did I first see it? A couple days ago.
Oh my.
You look smarter with the glasses on, by the way.
Yeah, but I can't. Let me. I do like to look smart.
Yeah,
especially when I'm talking about.
Oh, it's Professor Mohr.
Yeah. Except now I can't see it. Okay. All right. So we did 2000 Maniacs on Classic Era on episode 112 when Sammy Castle was a guest, and that was his pick.
Oh, that makes sense.
So I watched it, and I thought, this guy is kind of legendary, so I bought this Arrow box set, the Herschell Gordon Lewis Feast. And it has great taglines on there like full of bloody goodness, madness incarnate, ghastly beyond belief, the goriest, bloodiest pictures ever seen in blood color. So we see a theme here, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
This might be this out of all of the movies and packages and box sets I bought, this might be the only one I kind of regret.
Wow.
I'm not sure if I'm going to watch any of the rest of these movies.
They should put that on the cover.
I can't imagine sitting down and going, you know what? I feel like watching a Herschell Gordon Lewis movie. I don't know. So anyway, this is not good. I couldn't really figure out what was going on. And son of a gun, because I had the box set, I watched it twice because it has a commentary. So
which was the best experience?
The commentary was pretty good because, as Bill said, Herschell Gordon Lewis is pretty funny, and he has no illusions about his movie making.
Yeah,
he's just like he's kind of proud of it, that he's able to do what he did on that money and make money off that stuff. Mm-hmm. So, and I guess that was a period when there was a lot of super low budget independent companies in the South and on the East Coast that were just pushing stuff out to go to drive-ins.
Yep.
But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know what the hell was happening. There's some kind of weird juxtaposition of reality, and I don't know, like he'd have the women up on the stage and would have just cut her in half with an electric chainsaw, and then she's laying there and looks perfectly fine.
He's a master of illusion.
And then later on, the effects hit her after she walks out, gets the car, and drives somewhere. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, I don't know what to say about it. Lots of funny stories about him from the commentary. Not a whole lot of info. Well, there was some information about the movie, but yeah, the acting's not good. I'm trying to think of anybody that was good acting, but I can't think of them. So I guess I'll stop. If you love gore,
yeah,
or Herschell Gordon Lewis, this is for you. But otherwise,
yeah, I feel the same way. I do respect Herschell Gordon Lewis because he did it. He did the thing, right?
Absolutely.
And he did it more than once. He did it a number of times. And but man, so I thought I had seen this to find out. No, I had not seen this. I'd only seen like snaps of it or something. And I've even seen Blood Feast in the theater. It played in what is it? The Dismember the Alamo. At the Alamo, they play like in the Halloween. They play like four films together, and it was one of them. And I was like, oh, that was hard to sit through. But this movie is just bad on a spectacular level. That it does push it right on the edge of being so bad it's good, right? Just right on the cusp. But I don't know. It's oddly mesmerizing in its awfulness, right? Kind of like in a train wreck sort of way, car wreck sort of way. It's kind of like rubbernecking to watch it. Want to see what really happened. The story is bare bones. It's just there's a thin storyline going on, and then it's a sequence of these gory illusions, for lack of a better word, that he performs. Who knows what his end goal was? Who cares? And who knows what the ending turns everything upside down. You don't know. Okay, now what? Well, who cares? You just move on. It's just bad. But people love Herschell Gordon Lewis. There is a huge fan base for him and his films, and I know people that had worked with him later in his life. Is he still? He's not still with us, is he? Is he still with us?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. And they worked with him before he passed away, and they speak so highly of him. And it's very much on the same reins that you're talking about, Bill. He's just a wonderful guy, and he just makes these bizarrely bad movies. And consistently. I mean, Bill, I'm going to ask you a question before we get into this. I mean, you've talked about this before. You catch a film and you instantly know who directs it.
Yeah.
But I would say that definitely holds true for Herschell Gordon Lewis.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Especially the 60s and 70s stuff.
They're oddly static and theatrical, and he did this
Very much so.
a number of times. He actually, here's the crazy thing about H.G. Lewis. When you look at his list of films, the gore films are just a small part of it. He was one of the pioneers of the nudie cutie movies. He did a bunch of children's movies, and you're like, oh my God, what would an H.G. Lewis children's movies look like? And you get excited. Don't get excited. They're awful. It looks like there were people who were putting on like a Wizard of Oz stage show, and he just filmed it. And that's basically all. And by filming it, he nailed the camera down, and they walk on and walk. There's no effort to do like any kind of fancy camera work, or there's nothing cinematic about these.
It's like a parent sitting in an auditorium filming their kids play.
Yeah. It really is. But yes, now he did do a few movies. He did some hicksploitation movies. He did he did a weird Western one. But yeah, they have a definite look. But what it is just, I don't want to be trashing the man, but there's just an indifference in there. There's no style other than no style, which I guess is a kind of style, but I don't imagine any filmmakers are influenced by his filmmaking technique. They might be influenced by the sheer chutzpah, the balls that it takes to do something, to see a need. And this is what he was good at. He saw a need that needed to be filled. TV couldn't show nudity, so he was king of the nudie cuties. Just go to a nudist colony and film it. The fact that most of those people should desperately need to have clothes put on them made no difference to him. So his sex movies are unerotic. Then that kind of got washed out, and mainstream movies began showing nudity. So what could they not show? They couldn't show extreme violence. So he went to that. And as horror movies, they're not scary at all. They're gross, but not as gross. They're gross. They have a reputation for more grossness than they're worth because it doesn't look real.
Yeah.
So what he was good at was seeing what audiences liked, making it, giving it to them, and he got rewarded for that. And I think part of the fandom for that is that here's a guy who would do whatever it took to scratch that itch.
One of his nudie cuties is called Boing.
Boing. Yeah.
Well, I think the difference in him, like Doc brought up about it's so this close from being so bad it's good. Most people make movies and when they're so bad they're good, with the impression that they're making the best movie that they possibly can, and
right.
This is just great. I don't think he had that. I think
Yeah.
he kind of knew this is garbage, but this is what I do, and that's why they never quite reached that so bad they're good status.
It's like when you look at some of the when you look at these outsider artists like Ray Dennis Steckler and Russ Meyer and H.G. Lewis. I mean, when Steckler made the incredibly strange creatures that stopped living and became mixed up zombies, he was trying to make the best dang movie he could. And that sincerity comes through and actually kind of gets you over the hump of the fact that it's not a very good movie, but there's someone there with a talent doing the best he can on no budget.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that vibe at all from H.G. Lewis. And once they stopped making money, once he stopped seeing the returns, he dropped it like a hot potato, went into direct marketing, writing books on how to be a direct marketer. And he was considered like, a wizard.
Pioneer. Yeah, pioneer.
One of the pioneers. He was really good at it. He didn't seem to miss movie making at all.
Hey, yeah, from 1972, Gorgo Girls, he stopped and then picked it back up in 2002 with Blood Feast 2, All You Can Eat.
Yeah.
And his last movie was Blood Mania in 2017.
Which we reviewed.
We certainly did.
And how good was that?
Same.
Yeah.
But it was also kind of mostly like it was kind of felt like an anthology. There was a couple different other people involved.
Right.
So. Yeah, I think the two he was.
Well, that was the thing. What you said, Bill, about him being a marketing guy, that he wrote books, he gave seminars on it, and that's what this was. It was an exercise in marketing and how to make money. I know that I can. If I spend I don't know what his budgets usually are. This one says I'm estimated at $60,000. I can make more than that on the drive-in circuit, regardless. So we're going to throw those out for as cheap as we can, and I'm going to make money on it. And he gave movies titles for no other reason than they would sell. He thought people would go to see it. It would look good on the drive-in bill. So, he was actually kind of brilliant in that way. And again, you said he was a nice guy. He's like, on this commentary, the guy from Something Weird is talking to him. And there's several times during the commentary where whoever is there running the sound or whatever, they're cracking up. You can hear them laughing in the background all the time. It's kind of ridiculous.
Absolutely. Yes.
No, I was just going to say, you compare him to someone like Andy Mulligan, who also made a lot of really terrible movies. Andy Mulligan is not someone I would want to share a beer with. I don't know if I'd want to be in the same room with Andy Mulligan. But I can see watching his movies that there's an artist there. There's an artistry there. That he's working out his inner demons with these films. It's definitely you're watching an Andy Mulligan movie pretty quickly because you want to take a shower. I just don't get that feeling with H.G. Lewis, but I don't think he would be offended by that. I don't know that he considered himself to be an artist or that his films were art. They were commerce, and he was honest about that, and he was good at that. His films did make money. They almost couldn't help but make money. And after a while, he got the reputation. You knew what you were getting when you saw H.G. Lewis on the cover. Mm-hmm. Get ready for some mindless, splattery gore and over-the-top acting and just crazy.
This guy says, what's it like being the godfather of gore? And he goes, well, back then I wasn't the godfather of gore yet. I was just a schmuck with a camera. That was the way. And he just had these people like Ray Sager literally called him up and asked him if he had something for him because he was in New York and he was broke and he needed something. He said, well, come on over and you can work with the grips or whatever. And he goes over there, and the day he gets there, this is, is this true or not? Ray Sager said the guy that originally had the part of Montag was an outpatient from an insane asylum, and that he was getting wackier.
That tracks.
As time went by, like really fast, and so they knew that wasn't going to work. So they asked, "Oh, well, Ray's here. He can do it."
Yeah. Do you really want a crazy person swinging a sword around women who are like manacled to a wall?
So,
What could
It's
go
called
wrong?
authenticity.
Mm.
well, are we ready for that thing we do? I don't know.
I think we need to. Yes. It's time.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
folks,
these are going to be great.
It's now time for Taglines with Chad. Part of Chad, paid by Chad his own self.
Who else? Is it magic or wholesale slaughter?
Yes.
Okay. Astounding, stunning, bizarre. I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Yep.
The maniac magician whose tricks really work.
Oh my.
There should be another really at the end of that.
Yeah. An astounding walk down the bloody corridors of the occult.
That one's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
Seen so far beyond any you've ever seen that no description is possible.
Mm-hmm. It's
Kind of
pretty
a
hard to
cop-out, but
describe.
okay.
Pretty hard to describe.
Yeah.
In devastating color.
Devastating color.
Perfect.
C, the smashing punch press. C, the sword swallowing trick. C, the spike through the brain. C, the burning tank. C, the lady sawed in half, as you've never seen before.
It's hard to
Yeah.
keep a straight face, isn't it?
Yeah, hopefully not. Okay. Special effects by the same team that brought you Blood Feast and the Gruesome Twosome. And that's not saying much.
That's yeah.
But it's accurate.
That's
Yeah.
making lemonades out of lemons right there.
Mm.
And it goes by just way too fast. And that's been Taglines with Chad.
Chad's our hero, cool and rad. With him reading taglines, they can't be that bad.
All right. Posters. Two-tone poster.
Cheap ass looking poster.
Yeah.
A
cheap
lot
ass
of
looking
taglines on there.
That's a lot of words and
And I think that's like the only poster. That's where all the taglines are. Look down in the corner there, Chad. There's all the C's.
See.
Bottom left corner.
the black and
C, the spike in
Richard.
the head. Oh, there it is, right there, right next to it.
the black and white actually improves the look there because it doesn't look quite as fake.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I love the
mean-
punch press. Have you guys seen those on the reels on Instagram? For some reason, I suppose I clicked on them a few times, but I get these links of where all they're doing is putting different stuff in a
Yeah.
punch
Mhm.
press, and it comes down and smashes it. Or
Yeah.
Oddly satisfying. Yeah.
it is oddly satisfied. So that's the first thing I thought of when I saw that.
Yeah. And I suspect that when VHS came around, he suddenly had another avenue for money.
Mhm.
And there's the midnight video cover.
And that was the one of all the H.G. Lewis movies. This is the one that you would see the most often in the video store with this incredibly graphic.
Uh-huh.
Far more graphic than anything that happens in the movie.
It's promising stuff you're not going to see.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the thing. So what you see is you don't see like up close effects like you get with like Tom Savini or like cutting or slicing or knife going in or chainsaw or any of that stuff. What you see is you just blood spraying all over the place, and then you back away, and then there's organs laying in a bloody goop from his special blood formula,
Which he sticks his hand and walk. It looks like a kid playing with a bowl of spaghetti.
Or he pulls the brain out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sloppy, a lot of sloppy red stuff.
Of course.
Whoever did the art for this, I feel like this guy did the art for a lot of cheap VHS covers and all. It's just got that real pulpy style.
Somebody out there knows.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, not too much out there for it, right? Other
Nope.
than this. But yeah, here we go. There's a
Oh,
slew
A
of
taste, a taste of H.G. Lewis. It's delicious. Let's see, what have we got?
I
The
think there was
Magical
one-
Land of Mother Goose. That's one of those god awful filmed plays I was telling you about.
Did you Ray Sager was talking about all the people that were making movies like this, and there was some guy down in Florida that had made something like he said it was something like The Bludgeoning of Mother Goose or something like that.
Wow.
Now maybe he was just making a joke, but he gave the guy's name. I don't know. I didn't look it up. I should.
I expected something like that, but no, it's awful. And there's a couple in here that are so important. One of them is The Adventures of Lucky Pierre, which is one of the first nudie cuties. I think Russ Meyer and H.G. Lewis were two of the pioneers of this. And it's just the absolutely terrible story about, basically it's one of his nudist movies, except they had the smarts to hire some actually good looking women. So that, yeah, helped. And he goes to the dentist and something goes wrong and he gets x-ray vision. So we're just following this guy around in little vignettes where he sees people who are nude. That's it. That's all there is.
This is the man with x-ray eyes that I thought I was getting when I watched that.
It was made for almost nothing and it made a fortune. I think for a while it was one of the biggest cost to revenue movies ever made. Probably beaten by Deep Throat or something. We got Monster a Go-Go, which is one of the worst movies ever made, but you can't fully blame him because he was given an unfinished movie and kind of finished it. And what? Mystery Science Theater did Monster a Go-Go, and it's unforgettable.
If that's the one or not, but he talked about that there was some film crew that shot 80,000 feet of a movie and then ran out of money. And he said, so he bought the film and he goes, there was no story there. And then they had all kinds of goofy stuff. Like there was a guy from the military and it was like the same uniform that he rented the first time wasn't there the second time. So partway through the movie, he's a major. Then you go a little farther and he's a captain. And then he says he stuck lines in like, oh, what'd you do? You did something good. You got promoted. Oh, this time you got demoted. And then there was a guy that bought a toupee halfway through the shoot. Yeah. So they called him. When he got a hold of it, he changed the character to he was his own brother. The guy with the hair was his brother.
Well, the best thing is the ending.
Nice choice.
The absolute best thing is the ending. The monster that they're chasing, this mutated astronaut, goes like into the sewers and he's walking down the tunnel and they're walking toward him and you're expecting a big confrontation. And the movie ends with the narrator basically saying, and when they got there, there was nothing. There was no monster. There had never been a monster. The astronaut was found safe and sound. And yet there was a monster. What could it mean? Show pictures of the stars. And then it gets into this cosmic, what possible exclamation. And, this is where the Wizard of Gore came about. I guess he had a philosophical streak or whatever, but boy, that movie is bad. So, but watch the Mystery Science Theater version. There's nothing else. And then the rest are various of the Gore movies he made, all the way to the Gore Girls. They're all terrible. 2000 Maniacs is the only one that I would say is worth watching as a movie. It's got some good music.
It's not great, but it's got at least got the seed of a good, like a horror movie going for it.
And again, the chutzpah, it's basically Brigadoon with Gore. Okay. Well, that's
and Blood Feast has a following in and of itself. So
it's got a good premise.
This stuff will kill you.
Fuad Ramses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this stuff will kill you. He did some Hicksploitation.
She-Devils on Wheels.
I should have put that in there because that's actually a pretty important one. There was a woman who worked with him who is just now beginning to get a little bit of attention because she wrote a number of these. She was assistant director. There were all kinds of things, but I guess when he stopped making movies, she stopped making movies. She just died this year, actually, in August. Never gave any interviews and was, kind of like a Millicent Patrick thing. Never really got much credit. So that's become an interesting thing. People are wondering what that story was all about and why she didn't do interviews. Or I mean, I guess if I could easily see someone not being super proud of these movies.
What's the name of the kid, the actor that was Webster?
Manuel Lewis.
His father's name was Emmanuel Lewis. Herschell Gordon Lewis.
Oh, really?
Just weird trivia.
No relation, I hope.
Nothing to do with anything other than weird.
All right. Well, anything else, Bill? You want to shed
No,
some light
like I
on
said, I mean, you can see he's got that goofy look. He, by the end of his life, he was more than happy to talk about this, embraced it. He did appreciate the fact that there were fans and everything, so he got that, which is something a lot of these outsider artists don't really get until after they've died. So I'm glad he got that appreciation.
Yeah.
I like everything about the guy except his movies.
Yep.
So,
And you got to remember that, and at this time, nobody had any clue that films would be so readily available.
Right.
That VHS wasn't a thing. You once they were out in the theater, they would make money and be gone, right? And maybe they would get a re-release, maybe not, get some more money, but they never thought it would have the people would be talking about it after the turn of the century. So
the woman you're talking about, Bill, is Louise Down. And Ray Sager said she went by a lot of different names. It was Louise Down, and then I think her middle name was Alma or Allison or something, so that she went by that, and lots of different ones. But anyway,
the podcast Rialto Report has a good essay about her, and I guess there's a film script bouncing around about her.
Cool.
Yeah,
that'd be a fun movie.
Yeah, I bet it would.
Yeah, you're right. She just died in August.
When H.G. Lewis wrote his autobiography toward the end of his life, he gave her very little attention. So I don't know if they had a falling out or what, but just worth mentioning.
all right. Well, the lead character in this is a character called Montag, and played by Ray Seeger,
which is Monday in German.
Ray Monday.
Montag is Monday.
Montag.
No, Montag is okay. That makes more sense.
Everything is so cheap. The one thing that isn't, I do kind of like the color. It's these movies are bright and gaudy. They just look like the cover of a bad comic book.
So this is basically guerrilla filmmaking.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they got permission by, showing the person's business in the movie or something. And the Ray Sager said that every shoot he was ever on with him, you got chicken, and you always did scenes in chicken places, so you'd get free chicken from the place. Anyway, I forgot where I was going with that. It'll come. Oh, Ray Sager said when they were doing that scene in the cemetery, and they raised the coffin up, start to come up out of the ground, that there was a family, paying their respects at a grave not too far away, and they see this guy standing there with the black cape and the top hat and his arms raised in the air, and that they all took off pretty quick.
Yeah.
Watching the coffin rise out of it.
He's obviously a young man being portrayed as an old man, and clearly Dick Smith was not moonlighting that night because he doesn't look old. Jeff and I were talking earlier. We saw an interview with him from a few years back, but quite a few years after this movie, and he still looks too young to play the role. So he must have looked like a kid.
Yeah, it looked like they just did that standard, the
sticking his face in a bowl of flour.
Well, local stage theaters where they use spray gray.
And
especially his eyebrows. Oh my god!
Oh wow!
Yeah, and his mustache where it looks like stuff's coming off it, and then the rest of it is just there's no imagination. He's a magician. Well, he's got a top hat, a cape, and a wand.
So the scene there in the bottom with the two women there with their arms tied in the air, he said they had to be really careful to not pull too hard because those ropes would break.
Yeah, kind of ruin the illusion.
You can see when he cuts the rope that it's really not. It's more of a
Mm-hmm.
push until it breaks thing. It's not really probably wasn't too sharp.
I gotta say, I love this guy's line delivery, by which I mean it's the weirdest line delivery ever. Like I don't know if he's struggling to remember the lines or if he's genuinely trying to give him a weird cadence.
But he's trying to go over the top, don't you think?
He's definitely going over the top.
Yeah. It feels like he's trying to give it weird cadence, but it comes across more wooden and weird. And...
The only one that I actually that was good and made me laugh out loud was at the very ending when he gets the turns are tabled on him and he's like, but I'm Montag, which is like, it was great seeing him humbled, but boy, this is a bad performance. But then again, he's supposed to be a charlatan magician, and magicians generally are kind of over the top, and he's got to be even more. But boy,
well, and he wasn't particularly. It's kind of weird because he said he was a child magician, but that he didn't have time. These were simple tricks, but he didn't have time to get into the whole magician flourishes to get back into that because he so short had to learn his lines, on such short notice. So,
yeah. Well, that's sad. I was a child magician. That's usually code for you don't have any friends.
All right. Well, there are other people in this movie, which you threw into one giant happy graphic that says actors you
will never see again.
You will never see again.
But that, in fairness, with that dialogue and these camera setups and everything, I mean, the lighting is terrible. They were stiff. What's the worst acted scene in the movie? Mine would probably go where the guy where their hands are bleeding and he just keeps saying over and over again, like, Stephen, you're bleeding. Your hands are bleeding, Stephen. It's like, I feel like there was more, but all he could remember was that, and they're not going to waste any film. This was shot on film. Once it's shot, it's done. We can't go back and erase it and film it again.
Yeah.
And these guys are not going to do multiple takes.
That's one of the things he said. They always knew, they knew the budget. He goes, I never went over budget. I knew how much film I had. And that's how much I shot.
How many feet?
That's right. Exactly right.
A lot of times they would buy from real movies, they would buy the leftover undeveloped film. So when you're making a real movie and you're shooting, it's got, I've only got 5 feet left or so. And that I could use it, but the scene I want to do probably needs more. So we're just going to stop. We can afford to do that. And they would sell these leftovers. And so when you look at some of these cheap movies and you're wondering why does the grain change so suddenly? It's like, well, it was a completly different film stock.
They're because we're using Elmer's glue to glue the film together.
Yeah.
He said there's a couple of scenes on here where the it's all tinted red, right? Remember, he's like carrying the body across a cemetery. Mm-hmm. It's all sort of red tinted and everything. And he said people asked him, what did that scene mean? And he said, I just responded by, why are you looking for significance in a film I ever made?
Yeah.
I was going to say, what did the whole film even mean?
I got no idea. I just,
yeah, I guess if you're one of these filmmakers, you have to learn the skill of just nodding your head thoughtfully when some film school reject gets up there and starts talking about, how you were trying to tie in current events at the time with, this and this. And obviously you were a big fan of Godard and French New Wave and just like,
I mastered that at comic conventions with people that would come up to my table and don't you think Wolverine I think he really does enjoy a cup of coffee in the morning before he goes out. And you just go,
oh yeah, that's what I've always thought.
I've never ever thought about that before. I can tell you.
Yeah.
Well, to go along with the rest of them, probably, but Ray Sager said, this is not necessarily the film I want to be remembered for. But then the internet came along and everything was out in the open.
Yeah. And you know what, dude? At least you're remembered. I mean,
yeah. No, I think so. So.
Well, I mean, he did do other things. I mean, we should
this guy actually
talk about. Yeah.
Yes, he did go on to bigger and better things behind the scenes, but better films.
Like producing and production. I mean, he produced one of my favorite bad sequels, which is Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2.
Oh my God!
I think it's better than Prom Night 1.
I do. There's scenes in it that I truly love, but he produced that. Then he did the next 2, 3 and 4, The Last Kiss and Deliverance from Evil.
Wow, he did. Wow. Yeah. I mean, he's got 37 producer credits.
Yeah.
So go right up to 2014.
Yeah. He kept in the business.
Yeah.
So good for him. I don't know about these two.
I'm hoping they went on to happy times, because when she has her big reveal of her true nature, she manages to be even worse than Montag as overacting.
And she's laughing.
Yes, terrible.
Man, you guys are. I just don't know what the hell was going on with this movie. I really don't. I mean, literally, he'd cut her in half. There's blood everywhere, all over the place. And then there would be like a scene cut to the same scene, but now she's perfectly okay. But the crowd was acting like, the audience was acting like they just saw something really gory.
So I think the premise is he's
hypnotizing them.
He was really doing those things on stage, but he was hypnotizing the audience to just see an ordinary magic trick. Okay, I'm on so far.
I thought it was
the other way around.
I thought it was the other way around as well.
And then he managed to somehow hypnotize the victims into not realizing that they were victims until, I guess, it wears off. But, it's like, wait a minute, if you really sawed her in half, I don't care what she believes. She's not walking out of there.
Yeah, she's not making it to the car.
Willpower
to the restaurant. She goes to the restaurant, right? And then bloop. And then, like with the sword scene, it cut back and forth between him, like cutting things up, and then they're fine, and you stick, doing the sword swallowing trick, and then back to cutting things up, and then back to and it's like, okay.
We may be overthinking this a little.
I think we are. I think.
Why doesn't it make any sense?
What was he trying to do? There's something.
Herschell Gordon Lewis is talking from the grave, going, "Knock it off, you guys!
Knock it off! Knock it off!"
Come on, it was in the quote. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're just dreaming that you're actually watching.
I thought the detectives were ridiculous too. That one detective is. I don't know if he couldn't remember. I thought he was the worst.
There was one shot where I could have sworn he was leaning up against something and asleep when they were at the TV show thing, and he's like, and it looked like he was asleep.
These people all acted the way people who have never acted act if you give them the chance to act. They overdo it because they're sort of remembering what it's like to be an actor, and I think that explains why, if you go on the IMDb, for most of these people, this is their one credit. This is their one and done bucket list. Nothing after this.
But it's the Godfather of Gore, so we need to take a look at some of the gore, shall we?
Yeah.
There's the press.
Which I think is probably the most effective one, because it is a kind of a cool kill, and I'm hoping
original, right?
That was just some cardboard wrapped in foil or something, because this movie, if I were an actress or close to one who's on a film like this, and I saw how cheap this look is, like, I'll tell you one thing, you are not getting under that drill press. I don't even know how those things work, and I can see it's not plugged in, and I still don't trust these people not to get you
no kidding. The brain scene.
The brain thing made no sense.
The wig comes off.
The wig is the worst.
Oh my god! And is it even the same actress? Like, is that the picture of the same actress?
I don't know.
I don't believe so.
That's the one where he puts a spike through her head, and then he
Yep. And
reaches
yanks
in
out the
and
brain.
pulls the brain out through the hole.
Yeah.
I guess.
A couple times. A couple times.
In the middle one, he's playing with his food. That's the drill press girl. And
Mm-hmm.
got to smush it around.
But there's more. There's more,
There's
ladies and
more.
gentlemen. Here we go. Boink.
The top one is there's Montag in his street clothes, looking like he's 12 years old in an old man wig. And now she's partially new. This is where she's supposed. The original idea, I read an interview with him. The original idea is they were literally going to have him tear her limb from limb, and they shaved a sheep or something. And I could have told him this, but a shaved sheep being rended limb from limb, while disturbing, will in no way, shape, or form look like a human. Just
he talked about, he didn't give the details on that. He talked about it, that they had this one thing all worked up, but they couldn't get it to work, or they didn't have the money, and they had to go with some other thing. Anyway, also that when he peels his face off, that was supposed to be a Mission Impossible type reveal. But they couldn't really do that either.
Couldn't pull that off. And can you imagine how bad an effect has to be where H.G. Lewis says, not in one of my movies. I got standards.
Right.
That's
Cutting room floor for you, pal.
so he had a bar. He had
a bar. Yeah.
Okay, now the bottom shot. I'm sure so the sword.
Yes.
That was more like a tape measure, right?
Probably.
Well, he said that just it just rolled up in their mouth.
Okay.
Because when he was waving it around, I thought that looks like a tape
flimsy
measure out there that they've straightened out or something, And once you start, one of those like the snap wrist things everybody had, the snap bracelets, yeah, something like that.
It works. I mean, it communicates what he's after in some fashion.
That first girl he kills and I guess it's supposed to be her tongue, but this glob of meat falls out of her mouth.
Yeah.
He said they picked her because she had a large mouth. He was just cracking me up. Everything was a joke. It seemed like he probably thought it was hilarious that they were actually doing that.
And there's the girl in the middle is the girl with her cut in half. So those listening to this podcast, you're missing out on some wonderful visual details. You can
how crappy that blood looks. This is what gets me still to this day. And I have anyone out there who's making a horror movie, if you're disappointed with how the blood looks, I'll tell you exactly why. You went out and you bought that bottle of blood stuff they sell at Spirit Halloween store this time of year. It looks really good coming out of the bottle, and that's the last time it's going to look good. Within moments of getting on your skin, it stains your skin a fine pink. It looks like absolute pants on clothes. And there's some easy things you can do to fix it. Look me up. I will tell you all my secrets, which are nothing I invented, just things I've picked up over the years, that you can make that stuff into halfway decent looking blood. But
Lewis said
like
that
marinara sauce. It doesn't even look that bloody. The middle shot's not bad.
The guy interviewing him said, "So is that your the same blood formula?" He goes, "Yeah, that's the same formula one we came up for in Blood Feast." So, your comment, Bill, that he never spent much time trying to get better because he had a formula.
Part of it though, and this is just something that still fascinates me. It may well be the same blood. I think the middle shot actually looks pretty good. The difference is he's wearing kind of a white shirt on top, and she's got like a green dress on. Blood will look completely different depending on what color the cloth is.
Yeah, the cloth doesn't. Yeah, you're right.
It makes a big difference. And you might think, white shirt would look best. And you would think that, but it usually brings out the fakiness of the blood more. Now, too much, if it's dark, I've had people come shoot and they're wearing a black shirt. It's like, someone might as well take a whiz on them because the blood's going to be completely, it's not going to show up at all. So there are some different things to think about when you're doing this. But of course, that's still overthinking what they did with this movie. So. Yeah, it looks so fake.
He didn't need to reinvent the wheel. Once he had it, that was it.
Oh yeah, right.
Why? It made money. There's no reason to change it.
And I think he only quit because by the time of Gore Girls, which I think he rather liked, it had a lot more humor in it, dark humor, but humor. You know, it had run its course, just like the Nudie Cuties had run their course and the Roughies had run their course. Yeah. The drive-ins were shutting down.
This was 72.
Yeah. Mainstream movies were starting to, you know, after Night of the Living Dead and other stuff, Exorcist and things. Now, yeah, you know, you could go to see a real movie, not this cheap off Broadway version of a movie, and see this kind of thing.
Yeah, the guy interviewing him said when they were doing the sword thing, he says, so you guys ran some kind of test or something with this, right? And he goes, oh, this is a test.
Either works or it doesn't.
You can't tell. I mean, he was so funny. I knew he was BSing on half the stuff he was saying.
Yeah.
But,
oh no! If you're listen with this kind of guerrilla filmmaking, one thing you'll learn is if there's any risk of this shot not working out, film the test, because that might be the last shot you get. You know, they're like, you're not putting that tongue back in my mouth again. And it's like, well, thank God we filmed the test, so we got something we can work with.
Yep. All right, where do we go now talking about this film? Is there anything else anybody wants to say?
I'm sorry,
Chad, you clicked it. You got
sorry.
I literally think, and this is nothing against Chad, but I think this might be the worst film I've seen on all the decades of horror stuff.
Really? Oh my!
I would rather. I'm trying to think. The only
Ghoulies was pretty awful.
Well, we haven't done that.
Fury of the Wolfman was a stinker. Oh
well, I'd watch Fury of the Wolfman.
Yeah, I'll watch Fury of the Wolfman any day over this.
Really? If that's the mark we're measuring.
Hey, you may be right.
Or Ape or Blackenstein. God Monster.
We did Ape.
We did.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yep. It's a gloriously bad movie, and in 3D.
That was the movie I saw paired with Colossus, the Forbin Project, which is just the worst double feature.
That was back
in the
with
history of double features.
That was a bad pairing.
Yep. Wasn't there a big thing about that? And they were trying to. Was that 3D?
It was 3D. Yeah. I have a 3D Blu-ray of it. So
I was blown. I was impressed with the 3D, but the movie was so terrible. Ooh.
Oh, it's
all right.
It is so bad it's good. That's one that goes over that line.
Yeah, right, right. And I think God Monster, and I don't know, Blackenstein might be right up there too, but it's got
Blackenstein's pretty bad.
It's on the fence, but
it's all part of the game, boys. It's all part of the game.
I mean, all these films have just a place in history of cinema, right? I mean, each one that we just mentioned, does something.
Well, back in the early to mid '80s, Gore had a big fan base. Mm-hmm. They were called Gore Hounds, and so these type of movies, those people would just watch them to see the gore effects and see how how gory it was. They even had I think Fangoria had an offshoot magazine called Gore Zone.
Gore Zone. Yep. Gore Zone was great
for the time. Yeah, the kind of
excellent.
Yeah, it was.
That's where I first ran into Tim Lucas's work and his writing. So yeah, but with these movies, either the gore's got to be really good or the stuff that happens in between the gore has to be engaging. And this movie has bad gore, and the stuff in between is just awful.
It challenges you,
and it's befuddling.
It does challenge you to stay paying attention to it. That's for sure. All right. Well,
but a lot of the stuff that he did though ends up. He's like the first one to do it, and it ends up.
Oh yeah.
People start using it when late 70s and early 80s.
Yeah. He is truly.
And I think that might have been a quote. I seem to remember a quote. I think it was from H.G. Lewis, where he said he compared himself to a famous poet and said, much like him, I wasn't very good at it, but I was the first. That's something to be said.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. All right. I'm sure there's people out there that are like really angry that they really love these films, and
how dare you?
we do want to hear from you. We want to hear from
Yeah,
you,
sure.
or the opposite. If you think we gave it too much credit, we want to hear from you too.
Please tell us why we're wrong about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Give us your incorrect opinions.
Well, I mean, I think you could debate it. I think there's an argument. I think somebody, could. I may not believe it, but I think they could do it. Anyway, thank you all for sitting through this movie and reviewing it with us. Man, but again, we'd love to hear from you as feedback, because we love feedback, which is our segue into the feedback, quite clumsily. So, Jeff, what do we have?
Oh no!
Save
I
me.
closed my window by mistake.
No.
We have a couple of short pieces of feedback. One's kind of interesting. Well, let's go with so Bill. The first one is on episode 203, "Blood from the Mummy's Tomb," from Jason Juno.
And Jason says, "Curse of the Mummy's Tomb did have Fred Clark, and you need to explain what any of that, what I just said, means."
So I played that episode while I was doing stuff today, and we get into a whole thing about the 4 different mummy movies and which one was which and stuff like that. And I think he's saying we kind of dumped on Curse, and I think he's kind of saying, yeah, but it did have Fred Clark, who was a great character actor. You'd recognize him if you saw his picture, if you can't think of him. But he plays a lot of.
Yeah. Well, it was a Hammer movie, and Hammer movies had a wide selection of good character actors to reach from. It just their mummy movies weren't that good, except for the Mummy. And
he did 5 episodes of Beverly Hillbillies, so that tells you something. I don't know what, but all right. Then today we released episode 252, Dead of Night, and Retro Game Man Dan has something to say about that. Chad.
Dan says 11 at 11:20. That must be that point in the video,
I guess.
I don't get films where they say a character's name over and over. It's just so annoying. I just saw Scarecrows the other day, and they must have said the name Bert 50 times in the first 30 minutes. Same in the Lost Boys, with every person saying Michael endlessly. I'm finally somebody that agrees with me on that. Did the writer's brains get scratched or what? Michael?
Excellent.
Michael!
I'm surprised that we went 11 minutes in. We were already bitching about Bobby.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah.
So appreciate it, Retro, and that's absolutely true.
And why do they do that? When if I knocked on your door, and came in, it's like, hey Jeff, how you doing, Jeff? Is it hot in here, Jeff, or just me, Jeff? I know what, no one talks like that. Nobody, sometimes they're the only 2 people in the room and they're still using each other's names. Like, why are you having to clarify this?
It reminds me of that old Warner Brothers cartoon where the big bulldog's got the toothpick and he's walking along and the little chihuahua's running around his feet going, what are we going to do now, Spike? Huh, Spike? Hey, Spike, what are we going to do now? And he backhand him away.
Yeah, shout out. Yes,
that might be the answer to that. Just backhand whoever does it.
I was thinking of the Monty Python skit where they were in Australia.
Spam.
All these guys come in off from the outback, and they walk into they all have these hats with the side bent up, with the khaki, and the guy walks in and says, "Hi, Bruce. How are you doing, Bruce?" "I'm pretty good, Bruce." "Hey, have you seen Bruce lately?" "No, I think him and Bruce went over to so and so, And then the new guy comes in. "I'm the new guy." "Well, what's your name?" "Simon." And they all look at each other and, "Won't that be a bit confusing? Mind if we call you Bruce?"
Oh man.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that.
Why not? It was great.
Classic
Carry
Monty
away with
Python.
stupid shit.
No, it is. It is. You can always bring up Monty Python.
That's right.
We also have Patreon. I just want to bring up real quick that we are currently recording reviews of Night Gallery.
Night Gallery.
And that will be starting on our Patreon every other week, starting on Halloween night 2025. Exclusive for Patreon members. And it's
my Kolchak shirt on. I got
yes.
gallery shirt.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because we did Kolchak, and those 20 episodes, 21, if you count we talked about the whole series as a whole, redundant, but it works. In there as well. But we encourage you to check it out and see how that is. And in 2 weeks, we'll have yet another look back at a classic film from the 70s. And Bill has picked one that Chad has been wanting to do forever. Bill, what film have you picked?
Well, is there any further 180-degree turn than to go from H.G. Lewis to a Disney movie?
And what Disney movie?
Sorry,
could
Maximilian Schell.
And we've done quite a few Disney movies lately. But this one is The Black Hole. And I have to confess, I have never seen it from beginning to end.
Oh,
I've seen bits and pieces. So
I think I might be in that same category. Right? But wow, the cast! I'm just kind of like, why didn't I watch this?
Great cast, cool
Gordon,
effects.
Robert Forster, Anthony Perkins.
But it was at a time when Disney was
Roddy McDowell
trying
voice.
to expand, but having trouble. They were trying to go beyond their image and flailing about doing it.
Yeah,
October is Disney month on DOA.
But
It is.
I mean, they did reach out and try some strange things, and this is one of them. And can't wait to dig into this. This is going to be a very fun episode.
We're going to be doing Something Wicked This Way Comes over on 80s.
That's right.
On 80s, yeah. Next week.
So,
Right.
Perfect.
Consecutive. I was thinking I
perfect.
should do the main one I think of in classic here is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
I'll get
goodie.
one. Yep. The
And then it's going to be Goop Troop Goes Hawaiian.
No. All right. Well, let's stop here. It's maybe one of our shortest episodes. Jeff wants to say something. Jeff, what do you have to say?
No, I'm just going. Yeah, it's one of our shortest episodes.
Okay. Jeff, Chad, Bill, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
A lot of
You're
fun.
welcome.
A lot of fun,
Thank
even
you.
with this brilliant film. With that, let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night,
Night, everyone.
everybody.